Welcome to another very exciting episode of Listen to the Heartbeat with Aaron G. And today's special guest is Brother Emmanuel. And Brother Emmanuel, he's gonna share with us how he came to Rising Scholars, right? Where he came from to get to Rising Scholars, and what his desperation is and his motivation to improve the quality of his life so that it can also impact our family and our community. Brother, the floor is yours.
How you doing? My name is Emmanuel Jarrett. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I started off my journey years ago. In 1995, I first went to prison for fraud. I did 16 months. And my downward spiral from that time stayed that way all the way until 2024 when I was released this last time in March of last year, where I started attending Mount Sac here at Mount Sac. And I remember meeting this gentleman as soon as I walked in. And I was scared at first because all I seen was kids walking around. I didn't think I would fit in, but I found me a place here at Rising Scholars. And then while I was at Rising Scholars, I started talking to people about my story and what I've been through, my testimony. You know, I was just telling this gentleman before we got on the podcast that I was at a point of desperation. I was nowhere near determination, but I was more at desperation. I was so desperate, I was willing to try anything to get me somewhere so I could be determined to carry on to somewhere else. And that's where I'm at right now. I started my journey in school and prison. I remember God talking to me and telling me, son, if you want all this, which was prison, men in the shower, cell doors, count time, I can give it to you, son. I remember him telling me that vividly. And I remember sitting there in my bunk and I said, Lord, I don't want this. And he told me in my heart, you need to go to school. I got a purpose for you. And that purpose is for me to help children, to help adults that are formerly incarcerated, those who are going and have gone through or will be going through the same thing I'm going through. And before they get to where I was, to where they have to be desperate, I want to talk to them about how to get out of that situation. And the best way to get out of that situation is through education. I'm 47 years old. I never thought that I would be in college. I will be graduating this June and attending Cal Poly Pomona. And I'm excited about it. You know, it's another step in my journey. I never thought I would be at this age about to attend a program for my bachelor's degree, but I am. I'm blessed. I've met a lot of good people along the way. And I'm going to let people know, if you feel desperate enough to try anything to change, then try education. Try sitting yourself still, being calm for a minute, and using your brain instead of using your physical attributes. That's why God gave us a brain. That's why our brain is like computers. We can do everything with it. And you can do minimal things with your body. So what I'm saying is really take time to really sit down and see what you want to do as far as education. You can do anything. You can do vocation. You can do electrician. You can do air conditioning. You become a nurse. You know, there's a lot of things that we have before us, but we have to take the opportunity. We have to be desperate enough to take that opportunity. And I'm just thankful right now to sit here and tell you about everything that I've been through. It's been a struggle. I've been addicted to drugs since 1995. I just stopped doing drugs in 2021. By the grace of God, I was locked up on June 23rd. So it's been a few years since I've been off drugs. He's also took that craving away from me for cigarettes and everything else.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's not even been a struggle because I've been trusting in him. And he's been leading me and guiding me all the way. God willing, if it's God's will, I'm hoping one day I can have a doctorate, you know, and right now I'm in sociology, social science. I'm dealing with that right now because I do want to be an advocate for those who are formerly incarcerated, for troubled teens, because I was there before. I know how it is. Even for drug addicts or those who are homeless, I was there before. I understand the struggle. I can empathize with it. So yeah, just take the time and just sit down and see what you really want to do. And if anything I can tell you that can lead you in the right direction, try education. Thank you.
This is Aaron G with Listen to the Heartbeat. And so, Brother Emmanuel didn't let us know that he's from New York. I'm going to ask him to go back. You know, he spoke about determination and being desperate. Give us some examples of some people you've seen growing up in New York that was desperate, they came with an apple, but they ended up with an apple field. Where'd you get that idea? Tell me.
I really got that from my father. My father's from Jamaica. He only went to the 3rd grade. He didn't have an education, but the man was good with mechanics. He was good with his hands. He can build houses. He can work on cars. And he was desperate. He was desperate to take care of his family, to raise his 3 boys, his 2 daughters, and my mother. He was desperate. And what he did was his desperation led him to be determined not to fail. And in doing so, he made his own business. My mom helped him. He had an auto mechanic shop in Brooklyn, New York for like 25 years, ran it good, took care of the household. We ate good, dressed good. Everything was good. But that was a form of desperation right there that turned into determination. You have to be at a point of desperation where it's nothing else. You having a thought to try, but you're going to try everything to do anything to get you out of the situation you're in. When you're determined, you can still. When people are determined, that determination can leave. But when you're desperate, it's a necessity. I must do something. So that was the perfect example of my dad showing. He used to get up in the morning, used to wake the boys up, used to help us get his car ready, his auto mechanic truck ready for work, and we used to get it ready. He didn't really talk to us. And I remember when we got older, God bless the dead, he's passed now. I asked him, Dad, why you never talk to your boys in the morning? Why do you never talk to them when we would get ready for school and stuff? We would help you get up, work on your cars and all that, but you never talk to us. You know what I mean? He said, because I want you to see the best thing that a man is supposed to show his son, him getting up and going to work every morning. That's what I want you to see. He felt like if I had small talk with you, it would take away from what I'm trying to show you. And that always remained in my mind what my dad used to do with us every morning. He used to get the boys up and check his tires, load his tools up, make sure his wrenches and sockets were put in place. Everything was there. Check his gas, the fluids in his truck. And then we'll eat breakfast. And then we'll go to school and he'll go to work. Ultimately, when he came home, we would play, wrestle with my dad and everything else. But when it came in the morning, he wanted his boys to see the best thing a son could see is a father getting up, going to work, providing for his family. That's desperation.
Not only, but brother E, not only was he showing you that, he was showing you when you wake up in the morning, look at the example. We finna do preventive maintenance if we go into a vehicle. Mm-hmm. And it's early in the morning, so we ain't finna go outside by ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. We're gonna do things together, mm-hmm. right? And we're gonna be quiet while we're doing it, because in my silence, I am demonstrating to you that I love you, right? Yeah. Well, one thing that I want to ask you is, you mentioned another determination, you say, you became desperate when Most High was speaking to you in spirit and say, hey, son, I'm going to give you what you want. Is this what you want? And you say you looked up and you see spider webs and people screaming and hollering.
Delano and reception. And like I said, God told me, if this is what you want for the rest of your life, I can give it to you, which was the inside of a prison cell. It was the inside of prison, behind the prison walls. And I look around like, nah, this is not what I want. Lord, you got to show me something else. And he told me, I built you with a purpose, man. In order for you to be the purpose, you got to be relinquish what you want, your desires and everything else. You got to let that go. You know what I mean? You got to be desperate to the point that you're willing to listen to me and do what I tell you to do, because what I'm telling you to do is for your benefit. He said, I'm good. I'm God. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get religious on y'all, but this is the talk I had with my Lord and Savior. This is what he showed me. And what he has showed me has gotten me to where I am now. It's not on my own accord. If it was on my own accord, I'd still be out there doing drugs, chasing women, being a deadbeat father. So I was desperate to the point where I was like, Lord, just whatever's not of you, take it away from me. Those people that you don't need around me, remove them from me, and allow me to do what you want me to do. No, I'm not perfect. I still fail. I still have bad thoughts at times, but he has me in his hands, in the palm of his hands. So in my form of desperation was to surrender and relinquish everything and be determined to do what he wants me to do in order for me to fulfill his purpose. Yeah.
So I heard something in that, and I heard something in the sharing of the lesson you learned from your father, and that as you become a sociologist, you are also setting an example for your young children, right? That despite the challenges life throw at us, there comes a time when we reach out and you reach out to the Most High God. You call him Jesus, Jesus the Christ. Some of them call him Muhammad. Some of them call him Buddha, but yours was Jesus the Christ. You humbled yourself and you spoke about, hey, school. Thank you for being vulnerable and saying, hey, when I came, I'm looking at a bunch of kids. I don't know if I'm going to fit in here. And almost, what is it, a year and a half later, you ready to transfer?
Well, the whole school thing started before I went to prison and had this encounter with the Holy Spirit. I mean, my daughter's in college. And she's got an associate, she's got a bachelor's. On top of that, for years, my mom been telling me, Emmanuel, you need to go to college. Everything that you've gone through, God's equipping you to be a help and an asset to somebody else that's going to go through the same thing. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't have the desire to want to go to college. I had a defeated spirit to where I thought, man, if I go in there and things don't work out, then I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn away and go back to what I know, That's the desperation part. I had to let go of that. I had to stop denying that I had a broken spirit. I had to understand that my spirit is broken, but it's somebody who's gonna mend it together, and he did. So when I came here, I seen a whole bunch of kids, and automatically in my mind, I'm like, I'm not in the right place. I don't know what to do. I was looking for the place where I was scholars. I met this gentleman coming down the stairs, and when I seen him, we started talking, and I kind of felt comfortable and at ease, He's one of the gentlemen that's be in this college running around doing film and video, podcasting, talking to the gentlemen and women and children, women and people here, helping us through our journey in college. So when I seen him, he kind of calmed me down, gave me a direction of where to go, you know what I mean? And he told me, I'm going to talk to you later on. It's been a year ago, but now we're talking. I want to talk to you. I'd rather give you an interview. So yeah, I was a little nervous. And then I came down to Rise of Scholars and I got around people out here and I seen that they were going through the same thing that I was going through, that they've been in drug addiction, that they've been in broken homes, that at one point they were deadbeat fathers or mothers and all that. And now they're making a change. And it gave me motivation that, look, my story is not a story that's by itself. It has other characters in it also that's going through the same thing I'm going through. So that helped build me up right there. And I'm at a point where I feel like I can take on the world right now. I'm about to graduate again, ready to meet. Hopefully from Cal Poly tomorrow, I can go somewhere where I can get my master's and from there to get my doctorate. But what really motivated was my daughter. She was in college. And she told me, Dad, you need to go back to school. I remember I was telling her before I got arrested, 2021, I said, I wanted to go back to school and do x-ray tech. She said, no, Dad, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And I know it was the spirit talking through her. She said, you're supposed to be doing something that's meant to help people. And yeah, so yeah, that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? I talk to her every day about what I'm going through right now. And in fact, she's a sociology major right now. And she's in Columbus, Ohio, and Ohio State, finishing her master's right now. So yeah, it's a blessing. Yeah.
I got a whole deep family in Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm a Gaulding, Gaul. Yeah. We come from the Bible, right? Yeah. We so ancient, right? We so ancient, it's a trip. Yeah. But, it's an honor that finally I get to hear your story, right? It's an honor.
Yeah.
And I can remind you, I can ask you to consider something.
Yes, sir.
I have a friend in the 12-step community. She often says to us, be good to yourself and do it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And remember, some of the blessings that the Most High give us, they're not meant for other people. They just really are, right? I have had the experience of attempting to share my blessings with others only to find out, hey, in the quietness in my heart, hey, you ain't supposed to do that.
Well, I like the way you said that. It's not meant for us to share our blessing. It's meant for them to see our blessing.
Yes, right. That's right.
Talk is cheap. Actions show better. You know what I mean? It's meant for them to see. We are walking epistles. You know what I mean? Whether it's for good or whether it's for bad. Whether it's for a direction of prosperity or a direction of destruction. We are epistles. Epistles are we are walking letters of what we are. You could read a person and tell them what direction they're going in. My mom used to always tell me, baby, without a test, there's no testimony. For some reason, I was a troubled child out of the 5 kids, the middle boy, the middle child out of 5. And she used to say, you're going through what you're going through because you got a testimony to tell people. So you're going to go through a lot of tests. You're going to go through a lot of stuff.
So for those of y'all that didn't catch it, right, he said an epistle. So if y'all can't even pronounce that, don't even know what it is, it's a letter. It's a letter. And if you're thinking about, let's look at all the letters we're writing right now. Those of y'all who might be watching this, wherever you're at in your in your journey, right? You're writing a letter, right? You may not be aware of it, but you're writing a letter, and somebody's watching that letter, right? So I'm going to encourage all of you all, and I'm going to encourage this young man, thank you for reminding me that the Most High has given me patience. He asked me when I came down, what you doing down here today? Yeah, I said, I'm coming to interview you, right? He was like, no, I ain't got time. I ain't got time.
Yeah, because I just got out of the gym, but he hit me with something. What'd you say earlier? You said right now is the best time.
Always remember that the right time to do the right thing for the right reason is always now.
Okay. So when he hit me with that, he had me twisting in my chest. I was like, yeah, let me go in here. I want to be more presentable. You know what I mean? Sit down and actually be able to talk.
So there's an old,
you know what I mean?
There's a book. It's called The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ. And in the book, Jesus asked them, who told you that? He said it in a real firm voice. He said, who told you that? Like, who told me I wasn't presentable? Right? But we are always, it's just a reminder to all of y'all, right? Listen, there was a saying that says, come as you are. Because we are representations of the light. And our purpose is to shine in the darkness from which the light brought us out of. Right? I'll never forget, you spoke about, the Most High reaching you while you was in jail and said, hey, son, if this what you want, I'll continue to give it to you. Well, what the Most High showed me, man, I was in San Quentin. I think it was D Block. Yeah. And for some reason, God had a sense of humor. He put me on the 5th floor. Right? Now, I need to let y'all know I'm on the top bunk on the 5th floor. On the 6th floor is death row. And he said to me, okay, you ain't in here for what you done did. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah, you in here on a humbug, but if you don't stop, I'm not going to continue to allow you to, if you don't stop, you're going to be up there. You rise to the top of your death row. I'm going to be on the row. And the blessing was that they had a 12-step program in Quentin. Check. I used to always go to it, but this one day I didn't go. Man. After the meeting, I need to tell y'all, I ain't no macho motherfucker. I need to tell you in Quentin, you got to lock your shit. It ain't no electronic shit. So you go in and you finna go to sleep, right? You lock your shit. You put your lock on it. Man, I'm in there dozed off, and I heard 3 voices. It was a Wood, it was a brother, and it was a Mexican. The motherfucker said, hey, shawty, young blood, don't you ever miss another meeting again. We get a lot out of you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. We going because it's a part of the board. Yeah. Don't you ever miss another meeting. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. My gate was locked. Yeah. But I was reaching for my piece of wood under the damn pillow. Yeah. They can't get in. Yeah. But my head said, oh shit. I know look, I know all 3 of them, they cold-blooded murderers, because one of them sat at a table next to me while we was eating. And then he moved to our table, and I say, yo, Pops, why you at our table? And he said some chilling ass shit to me. Yeah. He said some chilling shit. Why you sitting at our table? And I looked at him. I said, well, what you in here for anyway? He said, for killing 6 motherfuckers for asking questions. So I didn't ask him nothing else, right? Nothing else. He became a mentor to me. We was in what is called a Targio, and it wasn't nothing but a lifers group, right? And he began to say things to me like I heard you just sharing in the podcast. Who's protecting your women, folk? So I thank you for reminding us to hear our children when they speak. Yeah. Right? And to want to be better for ourselves. Thank you for reminding me of my time of desperation. Yeah. Well, I was desperate enough to the point where
I wanted to leave an imprint in life. I just didn't want to be known as a drug addict, a man who was incarcerated over and over again, somebody who couldn't hold a job, somebody who wasn't a good father. So, because there's going to be something passed down to a future generation, whether it be our grandkids, great grandkids, and I don't want it to be said that your grandfather was an inmate. So my desperation came that I didn't want to be looked at. I don't want to be looked at in the histories of my family, the annals of my family's history, that this man had opportunity, but he didn't take the opportunity. He didn't take what was offered to him. He decided to live a life that was not meant for him. You know what I mean? I had something better for me. And when God spoke to me, man, when the Spirit spoke to me and told me, it is what you want, I can give it to you. He was basically telling me I got a lot more for you. But if this is what you want, if you want to settle, Emmanuel, this is yours right here. You know, it wasn't until he took everything away from me. I was sitting in prison. And I've been in prison a gang of times. I got 6 violations, 7 terms. I'm not proud of it. I don't wear it as a badge of honor. I'm actually embarrassed about it. You know, it took that much time and that much wasted time for me to understand that I have a purpose, you know, and my purpose is to do the things that God has placed in my heart that He's prepared for me since the foundations of the world, to do and help others that's going to go through the same struggles that I'm going through. And that's where I'm focused on right now. That's my main focus, to help those who are about to go through the same thing, to show them there's another way out, you know, and it's through education, you know. It's the strongest muscle we have right here. It's our brain. And, you know, so you know, I'm just glad to be here talking to y'all, just to open up to, it was my first interview, so I'm like a little nervous, but, you know, I appreciate it, you know. And there's always a saying my dad told me when I was a kid. He said, when we go into the room, he said, read the room. He said, but don't say much, because you don't want to seem like you're the guy that knows it all. So everybody that comes to you for the answers about something you don't know. He always told me, play dumb to learn more. And I always used to wonder why he said that. And years, I talked to my dad, and years later, I used to ask people, what did that mean to him? And I remember I asked my brother, my younger brother, his name's Iron, and he told me it's more than what Dad was trying to say. It was more than one way to make a bet. He said, you play dumb, you learn. You learn different things, different ways to do things. And that was so deep to me. And I always hold it in my heart when he said that. Play dumb, you learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that the Most High
Yeah.
allowed me to be here a year later, because your story mattered. I started listening to the Heartbeat. I got the title the day a SWAT team came.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, I said, you hear that noise? She was into the TV.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't hear that. I don't hear nothing. You know, you having an episode. You tripping. And I gave her the keys. I gave her all my wallet and everything. I said, it's 5-0 out there. Then the phone rung.
Yeah.
And they was like, hey, Mr. Galdi, can you come on up? Because your card didn't work.
Yeah.
And I grabbed my notepad and a pen.
Yeah.
And I'm already knowing 5-0 out there. And I walked to the end of the hotel thing where I was at.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I said, you can come from around the corner now. And they did. And what was unique, it's a SWAT team. They didn't point their weapons at me. They was pointed down.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, I said, oh, so somebody told y'all don't point your weapons at me, huh? And he was like, oh, yeah. He really showed me on his machine and said, they told us to notify all agencies too, right?
Yeah.
You know, why would they do that? I said, because I'm a veteran. And I think when I was talking to my therapist, she wanted you guys to come do a wellness check, right? Because I was in the process of purchasing a home. Mm-hmm. And the man, we moved into the house, man, and the house was full of mold. It looked good.
You bought it?
No, it looked good, but we was getting sick. Yeah. Right? And, you know, 3 different doctors asking 3 different individuals, my wife and daughter.
Black mold everywhere.
Man, I don't know what it was, but that shit made us sick, and we was in a hotel, but that day somebody, you know, we black. Yeah. And somebody said, nigga with a gun, nigga, he got a gun in there with no weapon in there, but, you know, they came to do what they had to do. And
I mean, you can't really get mad at me, you know.
No, I ain't mad at them. And the trip is, 2 of the officers, they was like, why would they do this? I said, because I was in the service. I say, for instance, I see, you see how them 2 is going down there to clear the room? he's sitting right there and you two right in front of me. Yeah. I said, if I was to have an episode, right, the only one that might be able to get away is the one in the car, because I would have knocked y'all down real quick, right? You know what I mean?
How long did you remember?
For a few years.
Yeah, what branch?
Army.
Yeah. I got a nephew right now who's on the Air Force. My son, Uriah, his name's Uriah Dakota Lee. He's in the Marines.
Oh, shit.
So.
Oh, shit.
But I never really got to see that. That's where my life took me. I never really got to raise him. I only seen him till he was 2 years old.
Bless his heart.
So, but people that I know that keep in contact with his mother, they show me pictures. I didn't even know he was in the military. I was proud, like he's in the military. And it's strange to me because as bad as I was, my kids are totally opposite. My daughter, like I said, she's about to have a master's. She's a social worker in Ohio. You know, so that made me, that pushes me. Like, you know, I got to leave a legacy. I got my kids. I need something for my kids to talk about. You know, I might not be a millionaire. I might not be wealthy. But they're going to say my dad came from something, from nothing to something. You know, he did his thing, you know.
Well, I would challenge you to plant a seed to tell you that you are wealthy, and I want to remind you that, you know, our number one wealth is called time. The number one currency is time, and I'm proud of you. When I seen you, I had to tell you, brother, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Because you, from the time,
appreciate it.
Hey, look, y'all, then it's the funny part. I was sent up to go get him, right? Yeah. But he had no knowledge that I was sent up to go get him. And I was like, bro, you know, maybe I can get an interview. No, I need to find this rising scholar thing. But I'm studying walking with him, right? Because, you know, they didn't want, what's the beautiful thing is, though? They didn't want him to feel like some of the other young brothers who come, because when you come downstairs, you know, all of us is about a second chance. All of us don't look the same, though, right? Yeah. And, you know, they asked me, and I just walked with him all the way down here until he started getting set up. And then I seen him they started doing the paperwork, and I went on to the next person. You know, I love doing what I do.
Well, they're very helpful here at Rising Scholars. I mean, it just makes you feel comfortable. You get comfortable with talking to them. You get close to people. They go out of their way to help you, and they go out of their way to make sure that your day's going good. I mean, it's something I'm not accustomed to, you know, especially being in institutionalized, being in prison. Something I'm not accustomed to. Somebody's worried about your well-being, worried about your schooling and stuff like that. So it was all new to me. Like I said, when I walked on campus, it was strange. I felt like little kids were walking around. I was 46 at the time and 47 now, so I just felt out of place until I seen this gentleman. He brought me down the Rising Scholars, and I seen a whole bunch of people with tattoos on their neck and their head, and I was like, oh, I'm at home. Okay, I'm cool. You know, so that really helped me, you know, and I'm grateful. They helped me. It was one time that I remember after spring 2024 semester stopped, I was in a sober living home, and I know my contract was about to be up before my living arrangements there, and I was upset, you know, and I wanted to drop it all my classes for fall, all my classes. I gotta go find a job. I gotta go to work. I can't do school. And I remember I dropped all my classes, and then Joe, and I think Carlos sat me down and had a conversation with me, and like 15 minutes later, I was putting up a new schedule for fall semester. That's how helpful they was. They let me sit down and think of some reasoning of how I can go about this and continue school. And it worked out. You know, I'm grateful I listened to them. I'm grateful they took the time to sit down and talk to me. They could have just let me walk out and be angry and frustrated. And trust me, when I get angry, you really don't want to be around me. But they took the time to, you know, calm me down and talk to me and tell me that keep pushing. You know what I mean? That's what determination came in. You know what I mean? Like I said, desperation will lead you to determination, you know, and they're just telling me, just keep plugging in. And I did that, and look where I am now. In about 2.5 months, I'll be graduating. I'll be walking across that stage, and I'm excited. It's a big accomplishment for me. I never graduated from high school. I never went to prom, none of that stuff. So this is like a big accomplishment, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, very excited. I mean, this is all to this man, to Rising Scholars. I gotta give them their flowers, you know. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I get mine while I'm still here. Because I told my wife the other day, you know, I believe in Islam. And I told my wife the other day, I said, babe, listen, wherever I die at, that's where you bury me. Don't be, I never smoked Sherm while I was here, so don't embalm me, right? While I'm gone, right? She started like, what? I was like, yeah. Because I'm really one of those, look, man, I come from a Christian family. I'm a Muslim, but all my grandmama and them used to say, boy, all I'm waiting on is I really want to hear them words. Good and faithful servant, job well done. So I'm here to tell y'all live while I'm interviewing my brother from New York. Hey, look, if you hear my lights went out, right, just go on. If you know, we got the number to my family and them. Tell them, look, get the death certificate, go and put that boy in the ground like he wanted, because I really want to meet him. Don't hold me up, put me in no freezer for 2 weeks for a bunch of people that's going to come and tell a bunch of lies and start crying because they didn't tell me nothing while I was here. That pisses me off when people die, right? You'd be like, oh, yeah, long live so-and-so. And I'd be like, I don't even want to be around them fakes. Did you even try to get them to, move right? Did you even have enough courage, right? Because, look, I'm going to tell y'all, the day they told me to go see if I seen the brother, look, y'all can see he ain't no little dude, right? So I believe him when he mad as hell. You got to be spiritually fit to, be trying to redirect him, right? And I understand the energy, but I need to tell you I'm proud of him. I'm one of those, I watch people from a distance. I've seen him, I'm going to go ahead and tell on myself. I've seen him multiple times over there while working in the gym, and it seemed like, a home for him, right? You know what I mean? And wow, did you hear him? Not only is he about to be graduating, but he's about to be transferring. No, he ain't gonna be able to catch up to his daughter, but he showed on the grind, right? And I'm glad. I hope that if they don't have at Cal Poly, matter of fact, I might go over there tomorrow and see if they have an 8 to a men chapter, right? And get it started over there, because of course,
they got another branch called Project Rebound.
Project Rebound is a hell of a supporter, right? Look.
Project Rebound.
Yeah, Project Rebound.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm saying it right, because Charles Biddle is a gentleman I met here about SAC. He always said he used to come through here, the Rising Scholars, and talk to us and stuff. I remember I sat down and had a nice conversation with him. He's an amazing gentleman. I sat down and talked to him. He's one I derive motivation from. When I see him, I'm like, man, he's younger than me. And I see him, I'm like, man, one day, it's time for that. You know what I mean? But I never look at age. I just look at, it's not a status or ranking. I just look at the capabilities he has, his abilities, you know what I mean?
Right.
And what he's doing with it. See, we all capable, but it's about what you're doing with it.
Right.
And what he's doing with it is the right thing. He's being a supporter of those who need support.
Right.
We usually don't get support such as myself, because of where we've been, because of our past. You know what I'm saying? So I believe it's Project Rebound. I want to be sure, because
I hope you're around. Normally before graduation, we normally do the second chance. So we have, and I was honored to be the cameraman, audio man. So second chance is, we did it last year. It was our first time doing it. It's like TED Talk, but this second chance is for those of us who was formerly incarcerated, right? That didn't flip the switch, right? And that we can laugh about, hey, look, we hope the day don't come to where, we got to switch back to another switch, right? Because, so we like to say in second chance that we know this got to work for us. It's got to work.
Oh, it's money.
It's got to work.
It's money. Gotta work. It's gonna work.
It's gotta work.
As long as you do your part. Fly yourself.
Look, bruh.
Fly yourself.
It's gotta work. Because from where I came from, I would be the Tasmanian devil if this didn't work. I wouldn't have a choice. Right?
It's no way possible I'm gonna go back to the life I was living. And don't get me wrong. The life I was living wasn't all bad. What I mean, I had moments. Like I said, I'm from New York. I've been around a lot of people with money, and I had family members that did a lot of stuff to get a lot of money. You know what I mean? But what's the life for me? Because everybody that was getting money and everybody that was having money, I was the one that always ended up in prison.
So let me ask you, is there anything else you'd like to share with the youth? Anybody in particular? One of your favorite scenes?
One thing I want to say is just don't give up on yourself. Sometimes life gets too hard where we think we can overcome, but it's not us overcoming. It's God that's going to give us the strength to overcome. Your whole focus is don't give up on yourself because He's not giving.
Brother Emmanuel from New York, formerly incarcerated individual who decided to take a chance on Rising Scholars. Rising Scholars is a program that provides second chances for those who have been justice impacted. It has been an honor, my brother. This is Aaron G. with Listen to the Heartbeat.